Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the AEW Rampage before Forbidden Door. What happened at before Forbidden Door, after Forbidden Door? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about WWE Smackdown. Mm-hmm. And as the road to Money in the Bank comes to an end very shortly, this week is the last week. On Saturday, of course, we're going to be doing our live reactions to Money in the Bank. We're going to be doing Friday live reactions to Impact's Against All Odds. It's the Phil Collins
favorite Phil Collins song.
It is after. I'll be honest.
Second favorite. Sorry. I'll be honest. Is it the top in the air tonight?
In the Air Tonight has the drum thing. Oh, it is so good, though. It's got the Miami Vice thing, too, though.
It does. It's a good song. If you listen to the lyrics, it's a good song.
It's a really good song. Yeah, so Against All Odds is my second favorite one.
All right. What about Easy Lover? Do you like Easy Lover?
Easy Lover. Yeah, that's a good one. He's a hit. He was a hit-making machine.
Truly was.
And then he collaborated with, who did the Crossroads song?
Oh, Bone Thugs.
Bone Thugs. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. If only they had brought him on for first of the month. Anyways, we're going to talk about all that stuff. But first, of course, last night's huge AEW Forbidden Door featuring Match of the Year candidate Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. Lots of stuff went down. So we're going to talk about that for a little bit here because that's what we do here at Going In Raw.
That's correct.
First up, of course, a huge, huge debut for AEW in the form of the formerly known as Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli, Claudio Cameraman. Did you know that a Swedish podcast had the same theory we did?
Oh,
and
really?
Of course, that's the one that blew up on Reddit. It wasn't one of the friendos going to Reddit saying, hey, Steve and Larson think that this guy's Cloud. No, it blew up on a Swedish podcast, and then one of their listeners brought it to Reddit. But I like to think great minds think alike, Larson.
Sure, yeah, no, that's great for them. Hopefully, their podcast got more listeners because of that.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, Claudio Castagnoli is all elite, and as expected and of course reported, Claudio was Zack Sabre Jr.'s mystery opponent at Forbidden Door, where he won. Fightful Select has some details on his AEW deal, noting that his contract was set to be, quote, long-term, though they were unable to confirm whether Claudio had actually put pen to paper. Fightful also notes that this wasn't the initially planned debut for Claudio. During last night's post-Forbidden Door media scrum, Tony Khan talked about the process of bringing Claudio to AEW, and these transcripts come to you via Fightful. He said this. He said, I asked him about coming in before I knew for sure that Bryan was out, though I had a pretty good idea that Punk would be out. I could tell there would be a lot of changes. We already had a lot of injured people. I had no idea we would have even more on the run-up to the show. It was the day after the forum, so June 2nd, I called and had interest. There was definitely mutual interest. At that point, I felt there was a good chance. I wasn't sure if it would be here or another thing or Death Before Dishonor, which is July 23rd pay-per-view in Lowell, Massachusetts. Ring of Honor's return event. By the way, this is not Tony Khan. This is Steve.
This is an aside from Steve, yes.
The poster for the Ring of Honor show.
Awesome.
Oh, my God. That's how it should be done. That logo looks great.
Great. It's great.
Ooh, boy. He says, he continues, this is now Tony again. So I figured there was a chance that if Bryan made it back, there was a good chance that he would have started at Death Before Dishonor, and it would have been a great moment there. As long as Bryan is okay, that's the most important thing. It was a great moment to have Forbidden Door. I talked to Bryan on the phone last weekend, and he told me he wasn't feeling 100%. As soon as he said that, we're 8 days from the pay-per-view. If you're not feeling 100%, don't even think about wrestling on the pay-per-view or Blood and Guts, because he had been feeling well. I talked to him in St. Louis, and he was feeling great, and he was so optimistic, and was that fired up Bryan Danielson. He wanted to go. I didn't want to take another chance. As soon as he said he wasn't feeling 100%, he mentioned Claudio, and I said, that's funny. I've got Claudio in a contract. I hadn't told anybody. It worked out before for all of us. So yeah, he had Claudio already in the bag.
Yeah.
Done deal.
It was just hush hush. No one knew about it.
How fortuitous that
I know
these big names are lost, and he's got Claudio in the bag.
Yeah, I know. He has him just there, waiting to make a debut, whatever it might be.
Yeah, he's like, should I use him now? No. It's like an Uno. You got the reverse. No, the draw four. Draw 4. Yeah.
You got to save it for the most opportune time.
You don't just use it on anything.
No. There's times, heck, if I don't have the color or number of card being played, but I have that draw 4, I save it for a more opportune time. I'll draw instead.
Yeah, man. See? That's why you are the Uno master.
Well, it remains to be seen. Enforcer wants to play when he's in town, so we'll see what happens. He might wreck me. I don't know.
Maybe can I play too and be spoiler?
Sure.
Nice.
We'll wreck you. Enforcer and I'll just wreck you.
Really?
Give you a handful of cards.
Oh, man.
Start with 7, end with 17.
Lars, let me ask you this. Is there any update on Adam Cole? Last night's match was weird.
It was strange. So just to recap, in case people haven't watched the show, haven't watched our review. So the finish of the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match, seemed a little off. Adam Cole evades a Rainmaker. Jay White comes in the ring, hits Okada with a Blade Runner, and then covers.
It's the power of the Rainmaker. You even get close to that
You whiff on it, and
you're down for 3.
And then Jay White covers Adam Cole for the win with no move to precede it. So it seems a little weird. And then trainers came in to attend Adam Cole. So then you think, okay, he was injured, and it seemed like he was hurt. And then Tony Khan didn't really offer any details on the injury during the media scrum, but Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez reports that it is believed that Cole suffered a concussion during the match. He already walked into the match, apparently with a shoulder injury. He had his shoulder all taped up.
Yeah.
Hopefully Adam Cole's at a point where he can take a break.
Yeah, right.
He can heal up. It's tough, I'm sure, wrestling with a shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there and you get concussed. Just take a break.
Yeah.
Heal up, rest. I feel like I don't know Adam Cole personally. I know you do, Steve. He's a good friend of yours.
Oh yeah, great friend. I have the inside info. It's just he's my buddy. I don't want to be given that kind of
exactly.
Bit,
I feel like he's a
not
type
like Brian
of guy.
Alvarez who's just going to talk.
This is just based on his work when he was in NXT. Since he's been to AEW, he wants to be out there wrestling every week.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's something that he probably takes pride in, is that he can go out there and just wrestle every week and put on a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
The wear and tear takes its toll, though.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they can give him some time. He can take the time and heal up and come back 100%.
Put him on commentary for a spell.
Mm-hmm.
He's terrific.
Well, that's what he was doing between Double or Nothing and this show for the most part. He was doing commentary.
Yeah, he's terrific. He's advancing
he's really
stories. Put him on commentary when it's not even like a match that has anything to do with him. He's probably hilarious. He's great. I know he's hilarious because he's, number one, good friend. Number two, just go to the Chugs. There's a guy on Twitch called Chugs, looks and talks exactly like him.
It is Adam Cole. It's Adam Cole, Steve.
So, yeah. Anyways, now it's like John Cena and Peacemaker, the Enforcer. Let's talk about this, man. So, a lot of wrestling commentary out there, including a couple of old guys over at Going in Raw, were whining in the build-up to Forbidden Door about the lack of Bushiroad's other wrestling promotion, Stardom, not being represented at Forbidden Door. Let's get a women's match going on that isn't all AEW. Tony Khan had faced some criticism for this. And during the post-show media scrum, he addressed why Stardom wrestlers weren't on the show. He said this. He said, "I was interested in using Stardom. Obviously, they have a close relationship with New Japan, and all the wrestlers from Stardom were pretty much booked, and they didn't have visas. It was a big obstacle. There is definitely potential there. Certainly, Tony is one of the hottest and rising stars in AEW since she arrived in AEW. I thought it made great sense because she's been a champion in Japan, had a great experience at Stardom, and someone who's been on our TV. It was a great match we could build to. It was not a blood rivalry. It was forged in mutual respect and fought it with honor. It was a great wrestling match, and it was cool. I thought Tony was the perfect choice, given who was on our TV, who was pushed, and knowing that, while it would have been another challenge, in addition to many other challenges, to take people from Stardom and get them over on our TV, it would have been possible to do it, absolutely, but availability is the greatest ability of all in this business and most businesses. In this case, there was no availability. Tony, for many reasons, was a great choice, and they had a great match." That's an interesting answer because he's absolutely right about Tony's pedigree, her past. She did have, she cut a big part of her career in Japan. And so that does make a lot of sense. It also, and I have no idea if anybody asked about this, one of the benefits perhaps of doing Forbidden Door twice a year and doing it the way we've proposed, where you do one in the States, AEW, with their production, and then you go over to Japan, do it over there. Availability isn't an issue for those Stardom wrestlers.
That's correct.
So, yeah.
We should also note that Stardom had a show, I think, on the 26th. So in terms of availability, he's right. Like if they have a show the day before your show, then it's, it's not possible.
Right.
It's just not possible.
Not possible.
And that's outside the visa issues, too. So
Rawgate technology is fictional.
It is.
Hate to break it here. I know it's probably going to be in the thumbnail now. Rawgate technology is actually fictional.
Are you a whistleblower for this Rawgate now, Steve?
I am perhaps the new Raw whistleblower. Rawgate whistleblower. Boy, that's a mouthful. Anyways, let's talk about this, man. Let's talk about WWE.
All right.
Smackdown.
All right.
I thought this is actually a really fun show. WWE's been, I don't know what the deal is. WWE's been fun to me lately. That main event was wildly fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
People flying out of the ring and shit. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, they got that great chemistry. Beating the Usos. You got Pat McAfee calling out bum-ass Corbin for SummerSlam. Oh, that was fun. I thought there was a lot to appreciate about SmackDown.
Yeah, for the most part, it was fun. It's kind of convoluted where Adam Pearce is like, oh, Drew and Sheamus, you're in. No, you're out. You got to have a match to get in again. Okay, you're back in.
Yeah, that was stupid. Convoluted, stupid, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It seemed like there were. Yeah, I don't know if this was a situation where they were like, well, we need something big for tonight.
I'm guessing it was, hey, we need a main event for tonight, and also now that Drew keeps on talking about winning Money in the Bank, cashing in, then Roman's scared of him, so Heyman goes and talks to management to try to get Drew, and to a slightly lesser extent, Sheamus out of the match, so that Roman doesn't have to worry about him. But then why give another opportunity to get in?
Yeah, especially given the Usos, like if it's not like a tag title match, they've got like a 30% win record.
No.
Yeah. No, I don't. You know what? I appreciate this. At least they did try some storyline motivation to get us there. It wasn't they just slapped it together with no stakes. It's like, hey, I've had my arm twisted. I've been threatened by Heyman unless I pull you guys from the match. But you haven't. But the good news is you have an opportunity. I was okay with it. It is convoluted, but I was okay.
It is convoluted. Here's a way to make it simpler, perhaps, is Heyman, instead of getting them pulled and giving them another match to get back in. And this is really not too far removed from that, but it's just simpler.
Mm-hmm.
That being Heyman goes to management, complains about Drew and Sheamus being in there, and what he gets is the match against the Usos, and the Usos win, then Drew and Sheamus are out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's just simpler that way, it feels like. It's more streamlined, and you get the same thing pretty much.
Yeah, but it's not as convoluted, and we all know WWE likes things convoluted. So
yeah, I know.
You need to work on your WWE storytelling ability, man. We're gonna get that call one day, Larson. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna get that call. I'm like, I'm not the guy you want. You need Larson.
Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that call. No, thanks.
You'll answer it. Yeah.
I'm not.
Spam risk from Stanford.
Scam likely from Stamford, Connecticut. Yes.
SmackDown opened up with
going to voicemail.
SmackDown opened up, block caller, with a Drew McIntyre promo. Comes out looking like a man. He says, when I was first drafted to SmackDown, did I watch this promo? I think I did. He said,
"Oh, SmackDown was great. Did I watch it?"
I watched this in like 3 different bits, and one of them was like late night on Friday or Saturday, I think.
Oh yeah.
I was just sitting there. I was like, I literally did fall asleep during it, and I'm saying how fun it was. It was just really late at night. But
maybe you imagined a really great SmackDown in your dreams while you were sleeping during the actual SmackDown. And then see how much of this you actually remember versus what actually happened.
I know, right? I'm like, man, I swear Rawgate Mutant showed up. Where are your notes on that? I forgot about Ricochet and Walter having a match until like late yesterday, and I was like, weren't they supposed to have a match? And I was like, oh, I missed that one segment of the show, so I watched it this morning during an amazing breakfast burrito. Anyways, wow. So he says, when he was first drafted to SmackDown, I said I was willing. Oh, I do remember this. I was willing to start at the bottom and work my way to a title match. Yet no matter how many wins I get, Roman keeps ducking me. He says, so it seems like I'm going to have to force his hand. I'll have to become Mr. Money in the Bank. He says, speaking of earning title matches, Brock just shows up last week and has one. That's the Brock way. He tends to do things the hard way, right? No, he says, I tend to do things the hard way. He says, I'll be watching that match because whoever wins, expect Mr. Money in the Bank to come and claymore them. Sheamus comes out. He walks to the ring. He says, cool your jits. He says, you're right about one thing. Last man standing match will be the perfect time to cash in. But you got to be off your rocker if you think you're going to do it. He says, truth is, Drew, he says, Drew's only in this match because Pierce felt sorry for you. He says, you don't belong. Let's be honest. We go back a long way. Your only experience with Money in the Bank is watching somebody cash in on him. That must have been hard to take. He says, but get this. I'm a former Money in the Bank winner, and the man I cashed in on, get this, was Roman Reigns.
It's Roman Reigns.
And I'm really happy that they brought that up because they have that in the history. You can bring that up.
Exactly.
So Drew's about to retort, and he's interrupted by Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce. Pearce says, Brock.
This is Heyman says. He says Brock won't win the last man standing match. Roman will. He'll remain undisputed champion, but Roman does have a problem. He says even though Roman Reigns is the GOAT, after a last man standing match against Brock, Roman will be vulnerable for Money in the Bank cash-in at the hands of someone like Sheamus or Drew. And he's like, that's not a knock on Roman. Even Brock would be vulnerable. The point is the champion will be vulnerable after a last man standing match. And as Sheamus said, it has happened before, and I'm here to ensure that it won't happen again. So Adam Pearce here has a very special announcement to make. So Pearce tells Drew and Sheamus that he was a bit hasty, and he's delivering this as if his arm was twisted. He was a bit hasty in putting them back in the Money in the Bank ladder match because after neither of them won or lost their qualifier, and after some influence by Paul Heyman, WWE management has chosen to overrule his decision. So neither of you will be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. However, there is a path forward for you. You can both qualify if you can put your differences aside, team together, and defeat the Usos tonight.
That's right. After that, we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn. This was for entry into Money in the Bank. Beforehand, he had an interview. He said, it's going to be a great night for the Bloodline. Just found out that the Usos can keep Drew and Sheamus out of Money in the Bank because the Bloodline always does what's right for Roman. So tonight, I'm dedicating my match to Roman. And not only that, I'm going to beat Nakamura. I'm going to go to Vegas, become the new Mr. Money in the Bank. He says, I'm not going to cash in on Roman, though. I'm doing this to protect Roman. And then he goes out there. He's like, oh, there's my music. So he goes out there, and he ends up getting a win with a Helluva Kick. I like this finish here because Nakamura sets up for a Kinshasa. Sammy rolls out of the ring. Nakamura ends up hitting it on the floor. But at that point, Sammy's kind of dead weight. So he rolls him into the ring. And then he takes the scenic route to get back in the ring. He gets in and gets, boom, Helluva kicked. Yeah, I kind of that finish. Yeah. And the camera work was really good here because they kept tight on Nakamura. You just see a boot come in and nail him.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was right in the face. It was a good finish. So, Sammy wins. He's going to be in Money in the Bank. Then we were supposed to get the New Day taking on Jinder Mahal and Shanky before the match began. New Day grabs the mic, and they said, hey, we beat you last week clean as soap, and nobody wants to see this match again. We don't engage in rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch after rematch because it makes no sense. And more importantly, got a bone to pick with you, Jinder, because you took away something that everybody wanted to see, dancing Shanky. So they're going to give the good people Austin what they want, and they ask the crowd, do you want to see Shanky dance? Of course they do. So Wood starts playing the trombone. Shanky's dancing. They pipe in the New Day's music. And eventually Jinder just stops Shanky, berates him, and then Shanky pushes him. So Jinder leaves. And Kofi says, that's fine. Jinder, you walked out on Shanky like you walked out on 3MB. And so they all dance together. And then the Viking Raiders. Warhorn blares in. What?
Let's just pause real quick.
What
was it? It's they've got $1 billion deals. They've got production like nobody else. What was this goofy ass shit with weird PNGs of the War Raiders or the Viking Raiders up on the Tron?
Yeah, it was silly. And also when the fireworks went off, why was all the house lights still on? It had no impact. It was just loud.
It was just loud. And then it was just it was a picture of a full body shots of them in PNG form which is a Photoshop term or whatever.
And then there was close-ups of them.
And then it showed close-ups, and they're just sitting there like just confused, which I guess allowed them to sneak up from behind and get their shit in. But that was terrible. Like you bring the lights down, and then maybe number one, the Viking Raiders don't need to be sneak attack guys. Okay,
no, they don't.
If they're truly intimidating, which they're trying to be now, and I like the new getup. It's good. It just looks like a movie version of like a sitcom thing, right?
Yeah, someone watched The Northman. Yeah,
right, exactly. But like lights, you do the House of Black entrance is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You know, you do some real moody shit. You bust out the smoke machine, the fog machine, and then they just like badasses. Shanky tries to go after him, and they just annihilate this dude. New Day's freaked out. They annihilate the New Day. They face him head on, not sneak attacks. These guys are supposed to be big bad beasts.
I know. They should have the war horn.
Yeah.
Lights come down. Like just put a single spotlight over the ring or something like that, and then have all that happen. That'd be great.
Right.
Make it dramatic. Don't have the full house lights up when the pyro goes off, and you just hear a loud bang and a couple little sparks.
Right.
It's not dramatic.
Yeah.
It's not dramatic at all.
You
Anyways,
show a bunch of still. It was just weird. How about a slideshow?
I know.
Give him a weird, awkward, silent slideshow. PowerPoint presentation of just what they look like.
In terms of presentation, it was pretty cheesy. They went in there and destroyed everybody though. So
yeah,
just destroyed them. So then we go backstage. Sonya Deville walks to Adam Pearce's office and she says, "I watched you take Sheamus and Drew out of Money in the Bank, and it kind of gave me secondhand embarrassment." And Adam Pearce, decision matters like this. Decision comes from above me. And Sonya says, classic Adam Pearce, making excuse after excuse. What's your excuse for the way you've been treating the women's division right now? He says, just so you know, the locker room saying that you're out of touch. And she says, for example, I've been on SmackDown for weeks and I haven't had a match yet. Raquel Rodriguez, she comes here. She gets a Money in the Bank qualifier. Lacey Evans, she's been gone for a year. She gets a Money in the Bank qualifier. Yet I get nothing. I'm just asking for a little respect around here. And Pierce says, well, if you want competition, you're going to get it in a handicap match. And that match is next.
We had that match. Raquel Rodriguez and Lacey Evans versus Sonya Deville. Sonya came to the ring with her own backup, though. She had Shayna Baszler and Xia Li, of course, the two people who lost out to Raquel and Lacey Evans in their Money in the Bank qualifiers. Mm-hmm. And for a while, Sonya was able to hold her own with that help. But in the end, Lacey Evans ends up hitting Sonya with that awesome woman's right. She hits that. That's such a great, I'm not like the biggest Lacey Evans fan, but like that finish is legit. Like it's like one of my favorite striking finishers right now because it's a really well done worked punch.
It is. It really is. Then we're backstage. Street Profits got a promo. Says Saturday is Money in the Bank. It's take back season. And they're essentially saying, hey, we're on SmackDown. Let's see what our future home is going to be. So they're walking backstage. They walk up to Los Lotharios. They're doing the kiss cam. They walk up to Gulak, and he's like holding himself up.
Yeah.
Between two ladders.
Yeah.
Like working out his triceps or something.
Yeah.
And they chat him up a little bit. Then eventually they walk up to Madcap Moss. Dawkins is like, hey, I got a joke for you. Why did the coach go to the bank? To get his quarter back. And he laughs, and both Ford and Moss were like, it's not funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine. It was a good spot. My favorite part is when they stumble upon Los Lotharios because it just had porn written all over it. It's a little awkward when you walk in.
It was like the kiss cam spot, but no kiss cam.
There's no kiss cam. They're just backstage. Two dudes, one gal, which is great. Do what you want to do. Everybody's happy with it. But, maybe find a closet or something to do that in.
It's always great to hear Pat McAfee get super excited when Drew Gulak shows up, though.
I love it. It's so great. Is that Drew? Is that Gulak?
He gets so excited. It's funny.
Yeah, he does. After that, we had this is brutal. Okay, so Natalya. So Ronda Rousey's music hits. The Joan Jett stuff hits. Yeah. And Natalya comes out dressed as Ronda Rousey, pushing a baby stroller. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Fightful Select had a little write-up on this in advance of it happening. And in that write-up, they indicated there was also, at some point, a fake baby involved. At least in this case, the fake baby. I was waiting. I was like, Didn't Fightful Select say there was an actual fake baby too? So apparently there's no, they dropped the fake baby. Fightful Select.
Good idea.
So anyways, Natalya drops a promo making fun of Ronda. Talks about the sharpshooter being deadlier than the armbar, yada yada. She says, I'm just going to start tapping right now. And I want to say sorry to all my fans. She's being Ronda. I want to say sorry to all my fans. So the best thing to do is to hand over her title to Natalya, retire, push her stroller, and leave while I can. She says, right now as a competitor, I'm probably the saddest woman on the planet as opposed to the baddest woman on the planet.
Yeah.
So then real Ronda Rousey comes to the stage. And I'll be honest with you. I got to give credit where credit's due. She was a little louder. And I thought that like she was a bit more convincing with the words that she had coming out of her mouth, which is not something I'd ever thought I'd say. I'd hear myself say about Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
It was better this time.
It was better, but based on the work of late, the bar is set pretty low.
Mm-hmm, yeah. No, it is. Yeah.
You know, and she didn't mumble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she actually seemed like she was into what she like. The emotion behind what she was saying was genuine. So yeah,
I'll give credit to.
Yeah,
I will.
It was a marked improvement. Yeah. Yeah. So she comes out to the stage, says, "I almost didn't recognize you, Natalya. You could dress up like me, but we couldn't be any different." And she says, "I'm not gonna bend over and just hand you the title because you think you deserve it. The truth is, Natalya, you're so lacking in talent and charisma." Mm-hmm. The closest you're going to get to being a main event attraction is dressing up like me. And she's like, "Oh, that's a nice jacket you have." And then starts ripping it off her arms and back. Mm-hmm. And so Natalya goes and grabs the stroller and like chucks it at her.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then grabs it again and then like hits her with it and leaves.
Dude, when that second time, Ronda went down.
Yeah, I know.
It was actually more violent than I'd figured it'd be.
I know. The use of the stroller was well implemented in terms of using it as a weapon.
I will be honest though, this segment on paper never should have happened. That being said, the participants made the most of it. It wasn't that long.
No.
And it wasn't as bad as if I described it to somebody or if it was described to me, I'd probably be like, that had to have been unbearable. And it wasn't. To its credit, it wasn't unbearable.
It was one of those segments where, as you mentioned on paper, you think, oh, this is going to be 15 minutes of just cringe.
Yeah.
It was like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And a chunk of that was a recap. So
I'm really curious to know like what their backstage relationship is like. Because they kind of like some of the shots that like I know you didn't put in your notes, but the bit about Natalya disfiguring herself to try to meet impossible beauty standards, which is a hell of a line, but it's nasty. That was a nasty line. And some of the Twitter stuff Natalya's been throwing at her, it's funny, but it's kind of harsh too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think didn't Natalya? She was one of the people that helped train Veron.
No, I think they're probably really close, which is maybe why they're able to why they're doing this. But no, I think, and maybe that's why this feud works a bit more because maybe Natalya just feels the freedom to come at her with this stuff, and maybe vice versa. But it is working. Natalya is and it's going to be one of Ronda's better matches simply because Natalya is a really good wrestler.
She is, and Natalya is doing some really good work in this feud. In a lot of ways, this is just a rehash of what the Charlotte Ronda feud was going into Mania.
Yeah,
especially their rematch at WrestleMania Backlash. Oh, my submission move is better than yours. But I feel like it feels more personal.
Yeah,
this as opposed to Charlotte and Ronda, which it just never really seemed to click at all.
No, it really didn't. Their match was really good, but yeah, it didn't really click.
The build did not really click. So then we had a Drew and Sheamus interview. Sheamus says, Drew, you're going to drag me down like you always do. And Drew says, oh, yeah? How about this? I have an idea. I'll fight the Usos 2-on-1, and you could not even bother coming to the ring. Sheamus says, Drew, you can't get the job done on your own. You better bring your A game tonight, and I'll see you out there.
Yeah. After that, we had Gunther versus Ricochet. Of course, Ludwig introduces Gunther, the Orangevale. I love it. General. And yeah, so Ricochet, try as he may, he got power bombed into oblivion.
Yeah, he did. That flurry of chops that Walter did in the corner. Holy crap.
Yeah, I know.
It was like 5 chops in a matter of 30 seconds. It was awesome. Crazy.
Oh, it was great.
It was great. Then we got a Paul Heyman interview. He's about to answer a question asked by Kayla. Sammy steps in, and he says, you don't have to answer her question. She tried to twist my words earlier. She was trying to infer that I would cash in on Roman, and the honorary Bloodline member would never cash in on Roman. I'd cash in on Brock Lesnar. Oh, and Heyman. He gets right in Sammy's face.
He didn't like that. He did not like that.
Woo!
Yeah.
Sammy's like,
realized
he turned left. Yep.
Yeah, went too far. After that, we had Tamina versus Shotzi. Was this for Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Shotzi got the win here after Tamina went in, tried to go hard on Shotzi, instead got posted. Mm-hmm. And then Shotzi hits a capture DDT for the win.
That new finisher is pretty. It's not a huge difference from a standard DDT, but it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I liked it. I thought it was cool.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah, you got it. Because she used to do like a senton from the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that too much. that's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
After that, we had the joke continues. Max Dupree in Pierce's office. He says, "Are you actually a WWE official? I can't tell because based on your actions, doesn't seem like it because you're denying me the debut of Maximum Male Models." He says, "Last week it's the lighting. This week you failed to provide the dressing room accoutrement." He says, "How hard is it to provide a dressing room at 68.3 degrees, stocked with the finest local water? It's not like we're asking for a bowl of green M&Ms. If Pierce can't handle the dressing room or the lighting, then I can't have my models debut. You have to get this right." And then Pierce says, "Okay, next week then." So it won't happen next week either. No, I don't know. I mean, look, this could obviously be, we know WWE does this as jokes sometimes.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's also a matter of we just don't really know who it's going to be. We don't know, like...
Well, I'm sure in a lot of these cases, like with Veer, they didn't know what they were going to do.
Yeah.
Like they probably didn't know, okay, we got Veer, he's got an idea of his character, but what's his first feud? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're going to have him just beat a bunch of jobbers? I don't know. And it might be the same thing here. Hey, we have this idea of who's going to be his modeling stable. I don't know.
And at a certain point, it's like, we'll worry about it after Money in the Bank. Yeah.
Yep.
After that, Pat McAfee gets up on the commentary table. He asks Michael Cole, he's like, "Hey, is this okay?" And Cole's like, "You sure you want to do this?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to do this." He says, "1 week ago, bum-ass Corbin stumbled to commentary and let the world know that he doesn't love wrestling the way Pat McAfee does. Oh, he doesn't love the way Pat McAfee does his job. Bum-ass Corbin said if they got in that ring, Pat McAfee would wish he were dead, but that's not possible. I love my life. So much so that when I walked into the WWE Thunderdome for the first time, I felt like I was alive. I feel alive. So bum-ass, while you're catfishing on the internet acting like you're not an insufferable douchebag," which is totally true. Corbin seems like a thoroughly pleasant and charming person on social media. Mm-hmm. He says, "I challenge you to a match at SummerSlam. And when I kick Corbin's teeth down his throat, the only thing I'll think is that I've never felt more alive." And the crowd's going crazy. He does a little shout out to the Rock bit. He's like, "Millions." Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, Cole's like, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah. McAfee's like, "Yeah."
Oh, man, that's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be. Then we got our main event. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre taking on the Usos. The Street Profits come to ringside to join commentary. This was a really fun bout. So down towards the finish, the Usos hit Drew with stereo super kicks. Jimmy hits a splash, covers. Sheamus breaks up the pin. Jay throws him out of the ring. Drew hits both Usos with neck breakers. He's looking for a Claymore on Jimmy. Jay pulls Jimmy out of the ring. Drew follows. Jimmy super kicks him, and then Butch and Ridge Holland run down to ringside. So Butch is trying to get in the ring, and Ridge is holding him back. But this distracts the refs. So Sami Zayn comes out. He's looking to hit a haluva kick on Drew. Instead, Dawkins intercepts, pounces him.
Yeah.
And then we get a stare down between the Street Profits and the Usos. Drew hits all four of them with the tope. Sheamus then hits Jay with a bro kick on the floor. Drew puts Jimmy in the ring, looks for a Claymore. Jimmy manages to counter with a super kick. But then Drew, shortly thereafter, hits a Claymore to get the win. Drew and Sheamus are back in Money in the Bank.
And they're both sort of celebrating, not celebrating together. You know, they get up on the corners, but Sheamus is still sort of jawing at Drew a little bit. No, the crowd was super into this match, especially they popped big when Dawkins came out of nowhere and pounced Sammy. I thought that was an awesome moment. Drew then like flinging himself out, landing on everybody was great. Crowd was, like I said, crowd really popped for this and made the whole thing really fun. They did a really great job here.
They did. We also had Rampage on Friday night. I kind of felt like, for whatever reason, there's like a different vibe to Rampage on Friday. Like they try to get more people involved. I know there's a lot more little backstage interview promo bits.
Yeah.
And like Lee Moriarty was on TV. We haven't seen him for a while. Jonathan Gresham was there. Tully Blanchard. They're bringing in some of the Ring of Honor talents, I guess, in advance of the relaunch in about a month, which is cool because we hadn't seen these people in a while.
No, I agree. I think that there's just a lot happening right now. Like you said, Ring of Honor, they had Forbidden Door, you have Blood and Guts coming up. So they're just trying to promote all this stuff. And so he's just sort of putting everything into it just to hit as many story beats. Dude, it's not exclusive to Rampage. Dark Elevation has stuff going on. So he's just trying to cram as much story into this stuff as he possibly can. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it.
I know he does it.
Like, I can barely do an episode of WCW every week.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's probably getting 4 to 6 hours sleep a night and then doing the same amount of work. I get 6 hours of sleep a night and I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. Well, he also probably has a bunch of personal assistants. You know,
could be.
That probably makes life a lot easier. I wonder how much.
I wouldn't want to do anything.
If I had a bunch of, I'd be as good as Tony Khan. If I had a couple of personal assistants, because all he has to do is sit there and be like, all right, it'd be cool. Next, I don't know. How about we have a pay-per-view with New Japan? Go get it done. There, done. See?
I don't know. He seems very hands-on. Like he comes with that idea. It's like, all right, I got to call Rocky. So he calls Rocky, and Rocky's kind of the intermediary. All right, let's get Gato on the phone. Yeah, that conversation happens. I doubt he's like having his assistants do all those calls.
Yeah, that's a conversation though. He's not sitting there like on fucking like, I don't know. He just has
but you know what? He's probably on the phone with that conversation.
Yeah,
and he's got his notebook there, and he's booking out stuff. He's probably doing all that, anyways.
It's no different, man. I don't know. You got all those assistants and shit. I'm not gonna blow smoke up anybody's ass. I'm telling you, man. This dude has, if I had personal assistants, man, are you kidding me? I get so much more done.
Oh, I mean, I would be sitting here editing all day. I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I know. I'm not saying you wouldn't or he doesn't. But I'm saying like the major stuff, he's doing all that.
When I'm sitting here booking WCW, you know what most of WCW is? It's just it's in 2K22 changing outfits and stuff, changing arenas. He's not doing any of that stuff.
No,
AEW's not an E-Fed either.
No, it's not. There's production meetings and stuff. Yeah,
but I don't know, man. I saw a video on that the other day. I was like, all these CEOs act like they work hard. All they do is just say stuff, and then people do it for them. That's all he has to do is just say stuff, and then people just do it. We do the nitty gritty. Like, you think anybody edits our stuff? No. Think anybody produces our stuff? No. We do.
No, we do.
Yeah, exactly. If I had people to do that for me, get out of here.
No, yeah. If we could afford to hire editors, we would, of course.
That fool works 2 hours a day maximum. Anyways, let's talk about Rampage. Lots of cool stuff happened here. Ray Field. Look, all he had to do for Rampage, dude, is this: take out all the nitty gritty from your notes, just all the bold parts. How about this for Rampage? Ray Phoenix versus Andrade. People are gonna love me for that one, right? Yeah. How about this? Here's an idea: Eddie Kingston promo. There, that's it. I did his job, Larson. We cracked it.
All right, confirmed. Tony Khan works 2.5 hours a day. Show kicked off with a great match, awesome match between Ray Phoenix and Andrade. Man, this was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Dad towards the end, Jose hands Andrade tablet. He's about to take a swing. Referee Aubrey Edwards spots it, and while she's trying to get rid of it, Andrade looks for a low blow. Phoenix blocks that, sends Andrade out of the ring, hits him with a tope. At this point, both Jose and Alex are in the ring. At some point, Jose loses his shirt, if I remember correctly, because they're about to fight. So then Roosh.
Because any opportunity Jose has to show how loked he is.
I mean, he's pretty buff.
I would too.
Blame him.
Are you kidding me? I'd never have a shirt on this podcast if I was as loked as Jose.
Well, we'd have to, because on Twitch you can't show Nipples.
You can say nipples.
Oh, but you can't show them.
No, I know, but you seem very hesitant to say the word nipples.
I'm just being dramatic about it.
Yeah, man, get some pasties. Some weird like with your faces on it.
Why don't you just wear tank tops? Because then you can still see the guns and you can see the outline of your pectorals.
I might do that anyways.
There you go.
It's hot out here, man.
It is warm. So anyways, Roosh comes to ringside. He kicks Phoenix square in the front area. Puts him back in the ring. Andrade hits his finish to get the win. And then Roosh and Andrade, they got new shirts for their faction. And then Roosh rips off Rey Fenix's mask and then Penta comes down.
They all run away. Yeah, they're like, look at these awesome new shirts. Oh shit, one guy. There's three of us. Let's run.
Yeah,
I was just hoping in the back of my mind. I was like, man, look at Jose out there looking all loked like a real wrestler. That'd be great if he got in there. He put on a shirt himself.
I know, put his fist in there.
They're like, what are you doing out here, bro?
You know, I was thinking about it, and this is probably just me trying to think of a best case scenario. Like, what if Andrade's story has been the whole time again? This is me booking it, not anybody else.
See? Ain't that fucking hard, man?
Andrade's story is he feels like an AEW, especially he needs a faction. So he's just trying to, he's trying to hire Penta and Phoenix and Darby, and he buys a piece of the Hardy family office, and none of it works.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
The only constant is Jose. So eventually he gets Roosh. Success follows.
Yeah. Well, no. You got to follow that. You got to follow that to its natural through line. Roosh falls through too. No. Oh. Roosh falls through. The only constant is Jose. He realizes all I need in life, hermano, is Jose. Oh. And then Jose helps him realize unlimited Andrade.
That Andrade didn't need anybody but belief in himself.
And Jose. No, you got to stick with it, man. Jose is the key.
All right, look, that.
We could do this shit.
See, I thought I had a good story there, and then you added to it. Then we got an Eddie Kingston promo. And this is what he says, essentially, I'm more excited about Blood and Guts Forbidden Door because I want to taste Chris Jericho's blood.
He went on and on about tasting Chris Jericho's blood.
Yeah, and Chris Jericho, who's on commentary, is very put off by that.
Yeah, it was great because they go back to commentary, and Jericho's like, and Excalibur has to continue on with all his stupid, pushing all the next stuff. And Jericho's like, did you not just hear what he said? Yeah, that was good stuff.
It was pretty funny. Then we got a Swerve Strickland Keith Lee promo. Swerve says, hey, we've been on a roll, and we're going to get together by Sunday. And Lee says, oh, it's clear we're not on the same page, but we can get there if we keep winning.
Yeah. And then God, didn't Swerve do something like he said something and Keith Lee was like, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. After that, we had Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez versus Sierra and Laney Luck. This match featured two people just getting their asses handed to them as Laney Luck. Weren't they tapping out at the same time?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, but Luck was legal tapping out to a Dragon Sleeper from Martinez, so she takes the loss there. Serena Deeb, Mercedes Martinez gets the win. And then we had a Tully Blanchard promo. So this is where we segue to our Ring of Honor segment because he does a promo and he hypes up his new dude. I'm sorry, God, does this faction have a name for the Brian Cage?
Yeah,
bunch?
Tully Blanchard Enterprises.
No, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. It's a terrible name. So Tully Blanchard Enterprises, he hypes them up. It's Cage and those two other guys. And then we see Gresham and Lee Moriarty. And Lee is like, hey, I want a title match. And then Tully barges in and it says, my guys have a better record. They deserve a title match. And then Gresham's like, hey, man, now you're here in Ring of Honor. We got business to take care of. And I'm like, it says AEW behind them. Like, honestly, like, this is... Why not have like a separate Ring of Honor backdrop and then do the Ring of Honor stuff in front of the Ring of Honor backdrop?
Maybe they're working on that, Steve. Maybe that poster, the logo just got decided on yesterday. I don't know.
Hot off the presses.
Hot off the presses, exactly.
Yeah, could be. Anyways, yeah, Tully comes in, he's like, and then he shakes his hand or whatever.
Yeah. Then we had Hook versus the DKC. Long weekend for the DKC, taking 2 L's.
Yeah, not a good long weekend, a bad long weekend.
Yeah. So here he taps to Red Rum, and they took the loss on Sunday too.
Yeah. What do you think? What's your take on Hook these days? So like his first couple matches, it was like, oh, that's cool. He's got some chops.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I get it.
It's time for him to have like a feud.
Yeah, I know. I
Not
feel
just
like
win matches.
he needs to be humbled a little bit. He needs to like have actual. He needs to
get in the ring, get somebody, and actually have it be competitive.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Because like, what you're 10 matches in now. Mm-hmm. Like, at some point, are you going to be fed somebody who knows what they're doing?
Like, put him in there against Lance Archer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's not. No, don't make a face. That's a good idea.
And have Lance Archer like wreck him, and then Hook has to dig down deep to see if he can actually win a match like that.
Right. And then they try again, and Lance Archer still wrecks him because he's Lance Archer.
I know.
I just think I don't know. This is silly because it's pro wrestling. It's just totally silly. But I looked up their cage match profiles. You know, all of Hook's matches obviously been in AEW.
Yeah.
He's got 10 now. That's how many matches he's had.
Mm-hmm.
DKC has had 111 at this point.
Yeah. I'm sure what JD Drake, who Hook beat, has had probably several hundred matches.
Probably, yeah. You're
300
you're
matches,
probably right. That's just the way pro wrestling is. You know, it's like, I get it. Jade has faced opponents that have had, thousands of matches probably or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like at a certain point, we're just going to keep on doing the same thing with Hook? Like, can we get some competition for the guy?
I know.
I don't know. I need to see something more because I just don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, I know. And I thought the thing with Danhausen would reveal some complexity to his character, and
it hasn't. They're both on their own islands.
Really.
They're both on their own islands. Yeah,
it really hasn't.
Yeah.
Then we got our customary pre-main event interview, Cash Wheeler, Jeff Cobb interview. So Cash is talking about Jeff Cobb's history. He knows about it. He says, I'm not going to back down from a fight because Sunday is our chance to make history. And then Jeff Cobb, who I don't know how much I've heard him talk before, and I thought he was really good. He was natural. He seemed genuine. Mm-hmm. He had conviction behind his words.
Yeah.
He lists off, he was a former Olympian, 2004. Says, I respect FTR, but their mouths got them in trouble talking about getting our titles. Mm-hmm. And they went out and had a good match. But before that, we had Gun Club and the Acclaim backstage.
Yeah, and Billy Gunn's like, hey, guys, I got us a match at Forbidden Door against the LA Dojo. And then they're the two idiots, the ass boys. They're like, oh, man, can't wait. We get to go to Japan.
We're gonna wrestle the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're gonna wrestle the Tokyo Dome. Max Cash was like, how do you guys always get this wrong? And then they all like, yeah, and then Bowens talks and they're like, scissor me.
And then we had our main event, Jeff Cobb versus Cash Wheeler. Jeff Cobb wins after a tour of the islands, but it was a really fun match.
Oh, this was a hell of a match, yeah.
It was great.
Really good stuff, yeah.
So afterwards, Great Khan walks down the ramp to come celebrate. Dax lays him out from behind, and then Ospreay and Aussie Open come down. Huge brawl breaks out. Orange Cassidy comes down. Roppongi Vice come join in. And then Eddie Kingston attacks Jericho at commentary and takes Excalibur's pen and tries to stab Jericho with it.
He's fiending for the blood.
He is. And Excalibur's losing his mind. He's like, hey, give back my pen.
Yeah.
And Eddie's just like, he's got the pen over Jericho's face and try to stab him. And they eventually brawl up into the crowd. There's a crazy brawl all over the place. They make their way back to commentary. Jericho put his headset back on. Eddie comes over, attacks him again. He's asking for another pen. Everybody's like, we got no more pens, Eddie.
This was amazing. This was pretty really good. Yeah, this was really, really good stuff. I love it. Yeah, hell of a way to send off Rampage in advance of Forbidden Door, which is going to be yesterday. Join us for that on Twitch.
We're looking forward to enjoying it yesterday.
There is a question. There was a little bit of a debate here in chat. People, I don't know. People think that, well, number one, Maggie does totally have our ear, but they ask Maggie questions in chat to ask us. Like I don't read this stuff, and they're like, we think that they should review Rampage the same day as the pay-per-view. And it's like, well, here's the thing. This is the problem with it. And it's a fine question. It's a normal question. It's a good question. You look like you're chomping at the bit. Go ahead, Larson.
So I was thinking about this Saturday, since we're taking Monday off for 4th of July, that we should probably talk about SmackDown and our Money in the Bank review. Otherwise, the Tuesday video is going to be Raw, SmackDown, and Rampage, plus whatever news is happening. That's a lot.
That's fine. Yeah. I just think we should probably frame it in a certain way as opposed to doing like a beat by beat rundown.
Yeah. We could talk about SmackDown in terms of how it affected what happened on Money in the Bank or whatever.
Yeah. As far as like on a normal situation, even this Rampage in advance of Forbidden Door, was not terribly consequential as it pertains to Forbidden Door. Now, if this was what do they call it? The First Dance, the CM Punk thing? Yeah. Absolutely. We would have done this in advance. The thing is, even reviewing it on the night of the pay-per-view doesn't really work. The reason why is because when we upload a video and it's like, hey, we're going to review the pay-per-view, nobody wants to hear 20 minutes of Rampage in advance of us talking about the pay-per-view.
Well, I wouldn't do Rampage before pay-per-view. It'd be like, okay, this happened on Rampage. This is how it influenced pay-per-view. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And it's like, well, in that case, like nothing really did influence it, so it doesn't really matter all that much. So honestly, if Rampage was a thoroughly, and I know we talked about how they are advancing more stuff on Rampage, still, it wasn't pivotal stuff. It's not like, oh, there is a big debut on Rampage, which is going to, affect things on Forbidden Door. No, they taped Rampage, so and even when they do it live, it's really not that big of a deal. So that's gonna be kind of why. It's a good question. I'm not giving anybody shit here in chat or anywhere else. It's a good question, but yeah, that's sort of the situation for now. Rampage is gonna come later, but yeah, we'll figure out all the Money in the Bank stuff. We'll figure all that out.
Yeah.
When we figure.
I mean,
it out.
if Monday wasn't the 4th, we weren't taking it off, it'd be different. We just do things as normal. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of Raw, we got a Raw tonight.
Yep.
20th anniversary celebration. John Cena, he's gonna be there.
Real quick, what's your favorite John Cena moment of all time?
Probably giving the Rock cry face.
That was mine too. Got to ask that question on Wrestle Juice. That's my number one. It's either that or him versus RVD at One Night Stand.
Oh, when he would like for weeks just completely publicly humiliate Baron Corbin and then cost him his Money in the Bank cash in.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I like that.
Showing that he obviously had zero respect for Baron Corbin.
I'll be honest with you. One of my favorite Cena moments is when he went to Vince and buried the Nexus in advance of SummerSlam.
Woo.
The only person he was really hurting was Wade Barrett. I don't think any of those other guys were ever going anywhere. It was just Wade Barrett. He had enough opportunities.
Was Bryan Danielson? Bryan Danielson was out of the Nexus by that point.
He got fired and came back. I think he came back for the other team for like Survivor Series or something.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was at SummerSlam. Was it that SummerSlam?
I don't remember.
I don't know what it was. Anyway.
Also, Kevin Owens to battle Ezekiel or Elias or Elrod, and this is also a Money in the Bank qualifier. Oh, California Wells says Daniel Bryan came back for SummerSlam.
It was SummerSlam. Yeah, it was a really short period of time. Okay. Yeah. So anyways. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're going to answer questions over at the Friendo Club TV channel. That's going to go up tomorrow. A little bit later today, we're going to have our reactions, supercut of reactions to Forbidden Door from last night. So be sure to sub over at the Friendo Club TV channel. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the week in wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.